intervention prior to and during the war impacted the Mexican Revolution by creating problems in Mexico's economy and causing political upheaval. In 1910, the Mexican Revolution had started in Mexico. Initially, the United States supported the idea of the revolution. However, for political and economic reasons, the United States soon changed positions and began to follow the anti-revolution movement. The United States at the time of the 1912 election, Woodrow Wilson signed a form of diplomacy known as the missionary diplomacy. This stated that the U.S. had a moral responsibility to deny recognition to any Latin American government it viewed as oppressive, undemocratic, or hostile to U.S. interests. Imperialism in the U.S. was on the rise and caused tensions between the United States and Mexico. When imperialism began, the United States was trying to spread their political power globally. But the U.S. knew that the global expansion of the political party would be a stretch. So in turn, they started with stretching their power to Latin American countries because of how close geographically they were. The conditions in the U.S. greatly impacted Mexico and their revolution.
Although the dates of the Mexican Revolution are widely disputed, the most commonly accepted range is from about 1910 through 1920. One of the main causes of the revolution was the oppressive rule of President Diaz. Under the rule of Diaz, a military dictator, Mexico began expanding capitalist social relations of productions, growing railways, and increasing the extraction of natural resources. Foreign influence played a big role in Mexico under Diaz's rule. This created a large divide between the rich and poor classes. Eventually, there became a point where the poor couldn't handle this separation anymore. Peasants across the country staged a rebellion in 1911 led by Francisco Madero. These peasants were able to successfully overthrow Diaz, bringing the revolution to an end, or so they thought. Madero was soon unable to keep his promises and later was overthrown by General Victoriano Huerta. Within days, Madero was murdered. Wilson referred to this as a government of butchers. The United States and Mexico came close to starting a war, but Chile, Argentina, and Brazil stepped in to help them negotiate.
The U.S. involved themselves in Mexican affairs before the war as well as once they were in the war. After World War I had already broken out and the U.S. was still neutral, Germany sent what would be known as the Zimmermann Telegram to Mexico. The Zimmermann Telegram was Germany proposing an alliance with Mexico in the event that the U.S. entered World War I. This promised Mexico the return of Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. The British were able to intercept this telegram and inform the U.S. of the potential threat.
Mexico let the U.S. know about this telegram and told the U.S. they had no plan of attacking because they were too busy dealing with uprisings in their own country. Eventually, the U.S. joined the war against Germany in 1917 because of the building tensions through the revival of unrestricted submarine warfare by Germany and the anger the Zimmermann Telegram caused.
Eventually, Huerta's regime collapsed and Venustiano Carranza, a nationalist leader, became president in 1915. Despite Villa's talk of friendship, when President Wilson recognized Carranza's government, Villa threatened the United States. Pancho Villa was a man who attacked the a U.S. troop on the Colombia side. And eventually, Wilson created an expeditionary force to find Villa, and Mexicans grew tired of U.S. invading their lands. Carranza sent in an army and there was fighting, but eventually both sides backed out.
That year, the Mexican government created a constitution to create restrictions on foreign investors. The fact that the U.S. continued to intervene in Mexican affairs shaped the path that the revolution would go. Mexican people wanting the U.S. to stop meddling gave a unifying force to Mexico during their revolution. Even though the U.S. would still be involved in some aspects, the Constitution created the Mexican government to put restrictions on this.